He stared into the mirror and saw nothing special. Just a man tired of pretending, tired of saying I'm fine when his world was quietly collapsing inside him. He had spent years building a version of himself that looked tough on the outside but was empty within. He remembered all the times life beat him, the humiliation, the rejections, the silence after failure. He had mastered the art of survival but not the science of living. And then one night, something inside him snapped. He whispered to his reflection, "No more lies." That night, he wasn't reborn. But he began to bleed truth, and that was enough to start. His past was heavy. It followed him like a shadow with chains, whispering, "You'll never escape." Every mistake felt permanent. Every memory like a scar carved into bone. But one morning, while running through the cold dawn air, he realized something. The past only has power when you stop moving. He didn't have to erase it, and he just had to outgrow it. So he kept running, one painful step after another, dragging the weight of yesterday until it began to feel lighter. He didn't run to escape the past. He ran to prove he was stronger than it. The world had always been a cruel teacher, but his own mind was worse. It mocked him, doubted him, told him he wasn't good enough. Every time he tried to rise, that voice pulled him down. But one day he decided to stop arguing with the voice and start proving it wrong. He trained harder. He read more. He meditated longer. He turned his weakness into a classroom and pain into a professor. He realized that victory never comes from conquering the world. It comes from conquering the storm within. He learned early that suffering is inevitable, but suffering without purpose is hell. So he began to choose his pain. He ran on blistered feet. He studied when his mind screamed for rest. He trained in silence when no one was watching. Every drop of sweat became a declaration. I'm preparing for life before it hits me. He learned that chosen pain builds armor. And when life throws unchosen suffering his way, he stands unshaken. Every night, while the world slept, he went into what he called the mental lab. It was the space where he tore apart his own excuses. He dissected his weaknesses, examined his failures, and built blueprints for his next move. He didn't rely on luck. He relied on reflection. He didn't seek comfort. He studied discomfort. The mental lab was his church, his battlefield, his rebirth chamber. In that solitude, he became his own coach, his own healer, his own savior. He stopped chasing motivation. Motivation was temporary, unlike a matchstick in a storm. Instead, he built circuits of discipline inside his mind. Every morning started before dawn. No alarms, no excuses, just action. He didn't need energy. He needed order. He called it mental wiring. Every good habit was a wire. Every bad one, a short circuit. And every night, he rewired himself to face the next day sharper, calmer, stronger. He died many times, just not physically. He died every time he quit, every time he hid behind fear. But each death made room for a stronger version of him. He realized you don't get reborn in comfort. You get reborn in chaos, through heartbreak, failure, loneliness. He was reborn again and again until the weak version of him no longer existed. He didn't escape pain. He became it, and that's how he learned to never die again. As he grew stronger, the world started to notice. But he remembered the janitor who once cleaned floors after winning the Medal of Honor, the man who served with quiet dignity. He promised himself, power without humility is poison. So he stayed grounded. He still helped others rise, still remembered the nights when he was the one crawling. True strength, he realized, isn't loud. It's silent, calm, and deeply kind. He reached his dreams, and yet it wasn't enough. Because real warriors know the climb never ends. The mountain only reveals another higher peak. He didn't chase victory anymore. He chased growth. Because growth was the only way to stay alive. He learned to love the process, not the applause. At last, he understood. He was never shaped by comfort, by love, or by luck. He was built in fire. Every heartbreak, every sleepless night, every failure had been a hammer forging him into something unbreakable. Now, when the world burns, he doesn't run. He walks through the flames with calm eyes and a steady heart. This is a story of a man who wasn't born extraordinary. He built himself through suffering, discipline, and humility. A journey from brokenness to fire.